Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak Extra on Trust Television. And of course, it's time for us to get into the next segment where we have a special guest in the studio. And of course, we'll be taking a look at the gospel industry. You know, there's been a convulsion in the music industry entirely. Before now, we go on, we buy CDs, but now it has been taken to the media space. It has been taken to the digital space where online streaming has taken the mark of the day. According to research, there are about 20,000 tracks being uploaded on Spotify every day, and you have to compete with that. And then there are lots of music artists who come around. They're being discovered on a daily basis, and that seems to be like a competition in the music industry. But let's streamline it to the gospel artists and the gospel industry as we speak. So we're being joined by a gospel artist. He's a producer, a songwriter, and he's a bunch of talent. Kingsley Innocent is here with us this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much.
So the gospel industry, you know, it has evolved over time. Now we have the likes of so many. If I start mentioning names, and we might just go on mentioning names and not get to the topic of this discussion this morning. Now, the music industry, how would you rate it, you know, maybe a few years back, maybe like 10, 20 years back, and then what we have now? What has changed, basically?
Yeah, I think few years back, like 10, 15 years ago, you could record songs, send it via infrared, Bluetooth, or you record, or you get a CD, you send it to marketers, maybe probably in Lagos, and then they market the songs, and then the songs probably be everywhere. But now, and then there were not so many artists, you know, gospel artists, to put it in that way. But today, it's a different ballgame. Today you don't sell CDs, you have more people singing than those not singing. Basically, if once someone you could sing a little bit or do something, you become an artist. You know, so there's so much competition right now. But then it's a bit easier to get your songs out there now. But then it seems as if it's a little bit harder again. So it was easier 10, 15 years ago to get your songs out, and then you can go to radio stations, do radio tours, you know, get CDs, give it to local people, merchandisers who will sell your CDs in the marketplaces, or you give it to bus drivers to play your songs and all of that. But right now, it's the margin is different. The way songs are being dished out right now is different from how.
But these are man-made issues. All of the people you just mentioned are still in existence. You talk about the radio station. We still have radio stations. The bus drivers are everywhere across Nigeria, across the world. And then we still have some of the means you said you could promote. The church, you know, it's another avenue where you have your CDs given to church members, and you know, the choir have to sing your song so it gets popular. So what has changed? Because this seems to be a man-made problem. Is it the mentality of people, or you know, things have really changed in a country that you cannot capitalize on those ways of making your music popular?
I think things have really changed, because in the world today, like in the Western world, America, UK, everywhere, and we Nigerians, we compete with them basically in terms of streaming of songs, in terms of producing the right music, using the right sounds, writing the right songs, and then putting them in places where people can easily find you. You know, so it's not as if those avenues, other avenues, are not still there. They are still there, but then in order to meet up with the competition, so you have to meet up with other avenues that other nations use, other countries use in order to meet up. Like for example, the Afro gospel, the Afro beat right now is ruling the world. And I think recently, a friend Limo Blaze did a remix of Jairi, and then did an Afro fusion to it featuring Lacrae, and it went viral. You know why? Probably because there's a little bit of Afro fusion to it. Now the likes of other of the beats they make from Africa now is making waves. How? Because we are also trying to meet up with the beat, with the quality of production, with also the avenues at which these songs are being sent out there. So people get to have more access to our music, unlike before, where people don't have access to our music because we didn't have online stores that could help distribute our songs. So now we have more online stores that could help distribute the songs, and then more people abroad get to hear your songs, like in Australia, Finland, countries that you don't even think exist. You know, and then there's this thing they do in online stores where when you send your songs to them, they could ask you, do you want us to send them to more stores? And then you tell them yes. So there could be a place in Vienna, somewhere in Germany, somewhere in Russia, and then you get a notification that, oh, you have 10 people, you have 20 people listening to your songs in those environments. So you have more reach, you reach more. So your song, your sound reaches more people, more like a multicultural community, other than the community that your core community, which is like in Nigeria.
All right, well now let's talk about gospel music itself and the evolution of gospel music in Nigeria. We're talking about how music generally has changed, and now you go to streaming, you don't talk about CDs and all that. When we hear gospel music, or when we hear about gospel music, at a point in time, the first thing that comes to our mind, most especially for us in this part of the country, is the normal Zumuntamata kind of vibe. That is what comes to mind. You understand? But now we have hip hop gospel, we have R&B. You just talked about the Afrobeat now. I mean, even reggae. You understand? So, how has that evolution helped to push gospel music?
You know, I feel it's all about creativity, and I believe God gave us a sound mind in order to be able to be creative. Okay. So being creative in the sense that we carry a Zumuntamata song, and then we add a CCM beat to it. A CCM means a Christian contemporary music, kind of be like the Hill song, Planet Shakers, Jesus Culture. So you put the beat, then you sing a Hausa song. So what have you done? You have given the song a body for everyone to be able to listen to. Okay. You've been able you're able to be creative, you know, that so that you can have more audience. So the goal there is to reach out to more. Understand? The goal there is to reach out to more. So when we get like for example, you can do Zumuntamata. We've done stuff like that. We've tried stuff like that. I have friends who have tried stuff like that. You know, carry a known hymn song or a Hausa hymn song. You understand? And then put an Afrobeat to it, or a Hausa hymn song, put a CCM beat to it, or you can do a slow worship song. It's a danceable song, but that fusion. So I feel God has blessed us with the ability to be creative enough to create music out of something that when people hear it, they'll be like, are you singing this particular song? Like for example, there's a song we did a remix. Okay. So when we're singing the song, when you start singing the song, people don't know you're actually singing that song until you get to the chorus of the song. Because how do we do it? You're able to add up some things to the music, then to arrive to the chorus, and then people will be like, oh, this is the song we're singing. Okay. So, you know, we pick the songs and we're able to be creative, you know, be able to be creative and add up some things just to. And then, you know, God is perfect.
All right, so basically you're saying this has helped in the expansion and the acceptability of gospel songs to different categories of people.
It has.
Okay.
It has, because unlike before now, maybe I could say 10 years ago, we listened more of Tasha Cobbs, all of those people. But when we decided to revolutionize our music, when God helped us to be more creative, they started coming into Nigeria to do stuff with us, because we decided to own our sound. We decided to own our God-given sound and music. So they decided to come and work with us. Why? Because we decided to grow to their level, and then they realized that they had gotten so used to their sound that they needed something new, and then we brought out something new. So they had to come in and do stuff with us. Like there's this gospel artist that did the remix of Excess Love with Mercy Chinwo. Like examples like that. So we have Todulani, who was in Nigeria last year, you know, doing stuff with our people. That's in the gospel scene. So we have lots of them coming in, and it's amazing. Like recently, for the past 2-3 years, you have more of the American acts, gospel acts, coming into Nigeria to do stuff with our people.
So is it easy producing or making gospel artists than the secular one? I'm asking this question because, you know, there's this controversy at some point, you know, when you cross carpet.
Yeah.
We've seen people who have cross carpeted. Chidi Maikili, you know, used to be in the secular music world.
Yeah.
And then now a gospel artist. We have a lot of them. We have people who do gospel artists and do secular at the same time.
Yeah.
People like Banky W. Okay, maybe he has cross
I
carpeted
think he's a pastor now.
into a gospel artist. But you know, is it easy? That would determine my next question. Is it easy in the secular music industry than the gospel music industry?
It's both easy. It's easy for the secular because you don't have to be careful about what you write. In the gospel saying you have to be led by the Spirit of God. The Bible says, for they that are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons of God. So if, in order to write good songs that will uplift people's souls, good songs that will heal people's hearts, you have to receive those songs. Yeah, in receiving those songs, so you can sit down to write the songs. So in writing the songs, you meditate on the lyrics of the songs to bless you first. After it blesses you, go to the studio to record the song. But for a secular act, you play the beats and then
Okay,
and
so
song
you,
is out.
I hear a lot of gospel artists said, I was just in the kitchen and then I got this message from God and I just had to put it down.
Yeah.
Now, coming to earnings now, the gospel artists would say, we're not having the kind of gigs we get when we're in the secular world. And some people who were in the secular world before will tell you that, you know, I was earning way more than I'm earning now as a gospel artist. What's the discrepancy there? And why do we have that kind of dichotomy, if I may put it that way?
I think it's our ability to be able to market ourselves. You know, because
Is it because you have specialized audience?
every artist have a specialized audience. You have, like, for example, when you're building a fan base, if you have 1,000 dedicated fan base, it means you've built a community for yourself. So amongst those 1,000, they will share, have you heard this song? Have you heard that song? And then your fan base increases. You understand? So in doing that, you notice that in the gospel scene, it's easier. I feel both the gospel and secular is easier to actually promote yourself. It's just knowing how to do it. And I feel we in the gospel scene, we don't hire professionals to help us. Like, there are people who are good at these things, like the secular world. They produce a song. One person, the secular world, a producer produces a song. He doesn't mix it. He gives it to somebody else to mix it. The person mixes it, sends it to someone else to master it. And then they get a professional to come sit down, a PR person to say, okay, so let's do this. Let's plan a tour, or let's plan how to promote this song. So let's put it on digital platforms. So this is how much we can use to promote this song. This is how much you give this person, this is how much you give this station, this is how much you put in here, this is how much you put on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And the song is everywhere. And then when you listen to the song at first, you're like, nah, I don't like the song. Second time, I don't like the third time. Before you know, you start humming the song. Why? Because they put it in your faces. But we, the gospel ones, we do a song, you want to be the writer, the singer, you want to do the BGV by yourself,
Marketing
then you
as
say
well.
the grace of God. Then you now say the grace of God in the song out, without actually putting in money.
Okay.
Because you need to put money to promote the songs. Because in order for the songs to go out there, those platforms that were created to put the songs, they were not created to be used for free. They were created so that you can put money and then they can send the songs out there. And then sometimes, yeah, you could put it for free and then they put it, but they won't push it. You understand? But the secular world have learned how to utilize the social media. They've learned how to utilize the TV, the radio, and they've learned how to put themselves in your faces.
All right, now when it comes to secular music, I've actually heard reports, we've seen how much these guys are actually paid to go play shows, do gigs here and there, concerts and whatnot. How often do gospel artists get these kind of gigs? And how lucrative is it if you do get it?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah,
Because they might just say, all right, come and play for us here. It's all for the Holy Spirit. So no wahala, we'll give you transport and money for pure water. Yeah, your reward is in heaven. You understand? So how difficult is that?
It's a two-way thing. It's difficult actually, because the orientation is bad. Like especially in Africa and Nigeria. because the idea is built that, oh, you're a Christian, you are freely given, you receive freely, so freely should you give.
Exactly.
You know, but I feel it is wrong.
Okay.
It's very wrong because the Bible said that the gift of a man shall bring him before, not before mere men, but before kings and princes. Now, if you come before kings and princes, you don't go out empty-handed. So if people invite you for an event, and I think it's a two-way thing, value. The gospel artist in itself does not value what God has put in his hands, and I also feel that the people inviting you do not value you.
Okay.
The reason I said so is, for example, for example, Sinach or Frank Edwards is being invited. The honor and the value they give to him will be different from someone who is not up to his level.
Okay.
You understand why? Because they believe that he has built himself, or he has achieved so much so that they can't devalue him. So they have to value what he has. So I feel also for the artist, value yourself, work on yourself. Be able to work on your music, work on yourself, work on your attitude, and how do people approach you?
Okay.
You understand? Now I'm not saying be all business or blah. No. What I'm trying to say is, if you're able to value yourself, then it will be easy for people to receive. To receive in the sense that if people don't value you, the expectation will not be as high. For example, you may be more anointed than another person, but the person is being valued more than you, and you could do more than the person. But the people receive more from the person than you. Why? Because the expectation they have is more from the person than from you. So I feel it's value.
Okay.
Able to work on ourselves, value, work on producing the right sounds. You must not say, oh, pay me this or pay me that. But how you present yourself is very important.
Basically packaging.
Yes, packaging.
The gospel artists of now, they've really evolved.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you wonder, could it be places that some of these gospel artists worship? Because we've seen gospel artists, they're ministers, they minister through songs. And we've seen the likes of, Christ Embassy, people worship at Christ Embassy, Koinonia, Koza, and a lot of places, that, and many other places that people worship. People have attributed it to, you need to belong to this set of people, or you need to worship in this church for you to be big, in quote. Is that true?
It's not, because there are people who have been worshiping with those places for years, and there's nothing to write home about.
Okay.
Yes. I feel also one thing I really, really don't like is favoritism. Oh, okay, if you're here, then it means you'll be favored, without actually attributing it to God. Well, now, remember I said how you value yourself, packaging yourself, how you present yourself, how you work on yourself. Then the Holy Spirit, the gift of the Holy Spirit in able to help you to be able to know where to be is very important. Because they could tell you, okay, be here, and you're not supposed to be there. So discerning to know where you're supposed to be is also very important. Because if you start going there, if you start saying, okay, if you're in this church, you will blow, or if you're going to this place, you blow, or then it means you've taken the ability of God's help to him. You've given it to man. It's important to be in the right atmosphere. It's important to be in the right places. But is that your place? It's also a question I ask. Is that where you're supposed to be? Because you could be there, you could be singing, doing all of those, but you'll be struggling. Yeah, a lot of people have succeeded in probably being in such platforms. But as a gospel person, as someone who loves God, someone who serves God, is that where God wants you to be? So for me, I feel it is in knowing where God wants you to be that is more important than actually going to where you are told to go because, oh, there's help there. Like for example, okay, I'm sitting here. I've worked with Sinach. I've produced a couple of albums with her. I've sang with her. I've traveled the world with her. I've done all of these things. I'm sitting in Abuja, somebody be like, why did you leave? You're supposed to be there. You're supposed to do all of these things. But it's important to also discern to know where you're supposed to be at what time.
Taking it one step at a time.
Yes. It's very important to be discerning, because if as a minister or as a gospel artist, I would use it as a minister, not as an artist, but you're selling, not selling, but you're showing, or you're expressing God to people. And if you're expressing God to people, it's very important that you follow the God that you express to people. Because if you don't follow, if you're not led, then it means you're not the sons of God. So which of the gods are you showing to people?
Exactly. All right. Well, very good insights there on the gospel music industry. Kingsley Innocent, thank you very much for coming on the show. It's been eye-opening concerning gospel music, and I hope we'll have you again sometimes subsequently. All right. All right. Well, we'll be remiss if we don't ask you to just a little bit.
Let's test the vocals.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay, I'll just do this Hausa song. It says, Yauzan, Reira Makawakaya Boya Yesu, Donkai Sayabo. Yauzan, Reira Makawakaya Bo Bangiji, Donkai Sayabo. 'Cause you're my joy and my peace. I bring to you sounds of worship. Because of you, I'm alive, I give you praise. You're my God and my King. I love you, Lord, with all I am. Because of you, I can lift my voice and say, Yozan, Reira Makawakaya Boya Yesu, Donkai Sayabo. Yozan, Reira Makawakaya Bo Bangiji, Donkai Sayabo. The last part says, Hallelujah, 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 Hallelujah. Hallelujah, oh, Donkai Sayabo.
Wow.
All right, that is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's been fun having you right here in the studio, and it's amazing to actually listen to your work. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for coming on the show. All right, it's still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV. We'll go on a short break right now, and when we return, the show continues. Do stay with us.
Yauzan, Reira Makawakaya Boya Yesu, Donkai Sayabo. Yauzan, Reira Makawakaya Bo Bangiji, Donkai Sayabo. You're my joy and my peace. I bring to you sound of worship. Because of you, I'm alive, I give you praise. You're my God and my King. I love you, Lord, with all I am. Because of you, I can lift my voice and say, you're my joy and my peace. I bring to you sound of worship. Because of you, I'm alive, I give you praise. You're my God You're my God and my King. Because of you, I can lift my voice and say, I can lift my voice and say, you're my joy.